Are you ready for some Black Sheep?
What was that?
Exercise is live! Black Sheep Bravo, broadcasting from red zone to green zone and everywhere in between. Always armed.
You got it on Black Sheep Bravo, broadcasting from an undisclosed location. Coming at you here is Trouble. I'm your lead guy today, Spaniard, Crash, and as always, the man with the plan, Max. We've got a great show lined up for you. So safeties are off today, and we're going to hit it right and hard. Some somber news today, and I think Crash is going to lead us off with this one.
Brussels, it's all over the news. It's actually an extreme tragedy that their country, Belgium, is just, another target for ISIS, and obviously everybody listening is obviously well aware that their airport and their metros were struck and attacked, and there's some gunfire in the city, and of course blood and chaos. On a real serious note, from Black Sheep Bravo, our hosts, our affiliates, just everybody's in our thoughts and prayers, and our
condolences to the families.
Our condolences to the families. I kind of wished I was there so I could shoot somebody in the face. I don't know about you guys, what emotions you guys felt.
Oh, I gotta admit, I was pretty pissed. I was not. As soon as I saw that, my son's on spring break, and he asked me, "Daddy, what's going on?" And I said, "Son, there's more wolves out there. The wolves are out there, and they're coming closer and closer, and they're going to do their best to make our lives unhappy and miserable." But again, I did catch this morning that there were some Belgian residents that said, they're not going to let this stop them. So good for them.
The first thing, it just took me right back to 9/11 and how much chaos and debris and smoke, and it just was. It was like my heart sunk all over again. It's ridiculous that their whole mindset is to create chaos unnecessarily.
Fear
and chaos, and the idea that they think that it's going to hold, that the world is not vigilant enough to just get past them.
I hope America is opening its eyes right now. All the, I wouldn't say I'm a fan of Trump. I wouldn't say I'm an advocate, and I definitely am not giving him a plug, but his whole thought process on closing the borders, everybody's kind of against it.
To a degree.
Really, you have to be honest and say, we are not that far from having similar circumstances here. I mean, look how free our borders have been with travel compared to adding restrictions, and yet alone 9/11. You brought up 9/11.
Right.
Those individuals came here with the intentions to kill people. Those people came here with the individual, that platform.
To add to that, I think I disagree with you a little bit, because to go through the refugee program in the States, they're already 2-year waiting list so that they can get into this country. It is 1,000 times easier for them to just get a travel visa. That takes almost nothing for them. If they were going to do that, that's one thing. Now, of course, they can't say, "I'm coming from Syria." They have to get their refugee status somewhere else and be like, "I am from Brussels," or so on and so forth. But the whole process of coming here as a refugee is actually is one of the most in-depth processes to get into this country.
Yeah, but why here? Why is it the United States is always the one to say, "Come on over"? We got problems still, man. I mean, I hate to say it, but, we got some issues that we need to take care of. How come Canada isn't stepping up? Or for that yet, Mexico. Well, there are some places in Mexico where they could say, "Hey, come to the beach areas. We'll put you guys to work. We'll make you sell coconuts, make necklaces, sell them at 2 pesos a piece. And here's your life for right now. Why don't you earn your status here and before you think about coming back to coming to the United States?"
So you're saying make it a process. If you can make it in Mexico, then you can make it to the U.S.
I respect everybody's opinions. I don't want them here.
I don't want them here either.
I don't want anybody else here. I love my country. It's like my little paradise. Don't come and pee on my parade.
Well, you know what? I guess the problem is it goes back to the original idea of what America was basically founded for. It was for people to escape a certain situation. Cuban refugees. When we first got here from coming to Plymouth Rock and this, that, and other. It's the idea that this was supposed to be the melting pot. The problem has become everybody else's false, or the propaganda, false hope.
I'm right there with you. I believe in the American dream. I wholeheartedly agree with you, but you've got kids, right? Mm-hmm. So you have a little aquarium at home, 10-gallon aquarium, right?
Right.
And let's say you got a little cage next to it. And the aquarium's set up great for all these little lizards or pets or whatever you got, right? The ones in the cage want to go in there. At what point is there not enough room for all these lizards? At what point do you run out of resources? How often are you having to clean that tank? So if you use that analogy and you look at the United States, no bueno.
Which is true.
Coming from a chicken farmer, he always has to bring up animals. Yeah.
Now, when you bring up Trump and his ideology, the thing about, I've noticed we have an eclectic group of backgrounds here. Mm-hmm. So, from my, I guess, leftist point of view, I'm a moderate. So I agree on certain ideological standpoints from the right wing and conservative side.
Well, let me ask you this, Trouble. I need a place to stay. I'm going to set up in your backyard, and I'm going to leave whenever I'm good and ready.
After you eat potato chips.
How would you? Yeah, I'm
the
going to eat
moderate military side of me says, first of all, you're not even coming to my house.
Right.
That's first and foremost.
Let's get back to Brussels real quick. And we're going to be discussing this for a little while, but to kind of get back to the story here. So 2 suspects basically self-detonated some kind of suicide vest. I saw one of the videos posted on an Israeli website that obviously somebody present took, but there was one in the metro, one at the airport. They specifically targeted the American Airlines desk at the airport. I think that was their first message, in this chain of events. From what I'm understanding now, the third was eventually caught. But I was reading some of the online forums from Europe and some of the people that were actually present, and like how just these images, these horrific images of bodies, mutilated and pools of blood. And, so now we go back to fear. Yeah, a lot of people said, it's not going to slow us down. It's not going to do this and that. But I guarantee a lot of that's coming from the people that weren't present when the bombings went off.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you notice that it was an American Airlines is where they set up at? So again, America is still under a watchful eye. We're a target. We're a target.
Yeah.
We are. And you know what sent this home to me was I remember listening to another story about this where there was Air Force, I think lieutenant, I don't remember his rank exactly, but he was traveling with his family at Brussels. He was there for the attack. All of his family members are injured. Thank God they all survived, but that's what sent it home is that there were Air Force, other soldiers, other service members there that got hurt for this.
Oh, I had also noticed, kind of attached to it, Dikembe Mutombo, former NBA player. He was there. He tweeted out later on that he was safe, but it lets you know how far-reaching that this attack really was, and that's why it hit home for me for where I compare it to when I first saw the smoke and the debris. It reminded me of 9/11. This is so far-reaching that it's still unknown how far-reaching this really is, but I'm glad to see that the people of Brussels, the immediate response is, we will be vigilant, we will move forward.
Well, this was a retaliation type of act, wasn't it?
Correct.
So again, it's tit for tat. We're gonna snag somebody who is a known terrorist. We're gonna take him into custody. More than likely, you better expect a retaliation somewhere, and that's when our guard needs to really be up.
And you know what? I think, and that's what they were saying when they caught the guy for the Paris attacks who was still alive. I think that's why they moved up their plans. This might have been, it might have been in the works for a couple months down the line, but now they had this guy, and they said that he was cooperating with the officials. They probably moved their plans up, thinking they're going to get raided because he's going to give them away.
Well, the U.S. State Department has obviously urged citizens of the potential risks of traveling to Europe. Obviously, that's a no-brainer. If you're not smart enough to figure that out, I'm telling you now, just avoid Europe altogether.
Stop. Yeah, just stay home.
Just stay home. Yeah, you know, there's a lot more to do at the Indiana Dunes than going
I'll
over
make
there.
you some ramen noodles. Throw some ham pieces in here. We'll make it eclectic. Make it
serving
different.
drinks.
Yeah, man. Just stay home. Stay away from North Korea, like that idiot that got caught doing that whatever he did, and he's now doing 15 years hard time. We got to stay away from stupidity and just keep it home.
My question is this. What is it that draws people to even leave? We have so much here. Everybody's here. Everybody's already here. Why do you want to go?
You know why I think it is because all of our families came from somewhere else, and we want to see that heritage. We want to look into our heritage and see where our forefathers came from before they became Americans. And I think that's a big part of it. Plus, there's a lot that, you know, Europe offers, especially that, you know, you can't see that kind of culture in America.
Yeah, I loved being stationed in Germany. I was there for over 4 years. I loved the hell out of it. You know, it's a great country for many reasons. A lot I can't even say on the air.
But to respond to Max, though, I mean, if you really want to sow your wild oats and look back, that's what Wikipedia is for. Why don't you wait until things calm down?
Well, yeah.
Because here's what's going to happen. Someone's going to go to Europe, and they're going to get captured by some Islamic radical, and they're going to say, we want ransom, and now you're going to have to put service members in to rescue them and jeopardize their lives to rescue that family when it all could have been,
You're right.
You know, it could have been prevented.
Two things I thought of real quick. There are these organizations that, you know, it's not like there's been a lull in attacks. There hasn't been some drop off where you can say, okay, things have kind of calmed down. Maybe I can travel now. They haven't.
No, they're picking up in consistency, and that's even U.S. officials believe that more terrorists are tied to this attack, which leads you to believe that they're plotting new strikes. And, you know, call me cynical, call me playing devil's advocate, it doesn't matter. I truly believe these individuals are not Belgium-born citizens.
No. Get out of here. Are you serious?
Yeah, but you know what? There's a very liberal side of our society that will say, well, it's not this or that. Let's call it what it is. You know, it's obviously Muslim Islamic terrorists trying to influence and sway the world either through fear, through actual violence, through, like Max was saying last week, through the media. Mm-hmm. You know, now they have the world's attention again. So we don't even live in Brussels. And yet, I guarantee there's people here now that are afraid.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Americans have to be waking up to this because Europe is, you know, basically like our front door, and the wolves are at the gates now. You know, the wolves are at our front door. They're not.
They're here too.
They're here too, but not to the extent that they are in Europe.
I foresee in the very near future another. Unfortunately and sadly, and I hate to say it, another 9/11 occurring, and it's going to come, and it's going to be big, and it might not be airplanes again, but maybe it'll be the subway, maybe it'll be, the bus depots, you know, something like that. I think what really gets under my skin is the ignorance of the village idiots we have in Washington, who, if you remember at the beginning of ISIS kind of developing and turning into an actual group, a legitimate group, they downplayed it. You know, I remember POTUS on the mic talking about, you know, basically telling the world, or Americans even, they're nobody, they're not a real threat. The State Department did. Everybody kind of downplayed it and act like...
At that point in time, with whatever information, and then I guess that's also the problem, is it's even the reason why we got into the war in the first place. The available information at that time, and then the other side is how it's presented to the American public. Because when you present it in a certain fashion with a certain context behind it, we as the American people, we get a false sense of reality. Like
false sense of security.
Security, reality, yeah. Mm-hmm. Either way, we get lied to, and then now we have to come up with this patriotic sense of urgency to go back into war again, and that's where I
and that's hard to create. Mm-hmm. That's hard to create right now. I mean, like we said last show, we're only half of us think that we're the best army in the world. So why should we go into war if we don't think we're the best army in the world anymore?
We are the best.
We are. But I'll tell you what, to all the Americans out there right now listening, if you decide you want to go to Europe, call me first. I'll arrange something. I could make the dunes look like, the French Riviera. The French Riviera.
Go to
I've
Vegas.
already been drinking. Vegas.
Just go
we
to
could
Vegas.
do a lot of stuff.
We got everything.
Margaritas, whiskey, and beer can do wonders for your imagination. And if you want to even extend that a little bit further with some of that other natural remedies, I'm sure you could even go a little further.
I think he's talking about.
But it's right here. Yeah,
the sticky.
Vacation is right here.
Yeah.
Take
Well,
advantage. Help your economy out.
Well, for us, we're fortunately located geographically pretty close to an area, a city that probably sells some pretty good marijuana.
Did you say that out loud?
Really? Yes, actually,
Jeez.
absolutely. Weed,
No,
pot,
who's your
green.
guy?
There's no way I can confirm that.
Are we talking Chirac or?
These
Somewhere
are the
close.
personal views of the
And it's not condoned by
here.
Black Sheep Bravo Radio.
Not condoned. Oh, jeez.
It's soon to be condoned by the VA, though.
That's right.
Is it?
I got
Yes,
my ticket.
yes.
I got my bracelet waiting.
I love how
Wow.
that's still a taboo conversation for many, but yet, how many states legalize the green sticky?
You know what?
That could be a new segment.
And it's actually helping out those states' economies, and it is not adding to crime.
Well, maybe if ISIS smoked it on a regular basis, they'd be a little bit more.
Well,
tamer,
you know
they'd
what?
be a little calmer.
Instead of us sending green berets, and we need to
Send
the
pellets,
greens.
airdrop some pellets.
Hey,
of
Mohammed,
okay,
Mohammed,
brownies.
Mohammed, man. Give me another
Eat
hit
this
of that
brownie,
thing,
and maybe
man.
you'll be a better person to the world.
This is some good stuff, man. I don't want to blow up anything. Man. Give me another hit of that bomb.
Let me get into that brownie.
Once again,
I am toasted, man.
Who's going for snacks?
Give me some of those Funyuns.
the Funyuns. Ah.
So, all right. So Europe. Where have you guys been to Europe at all?
Briefly.
Briefly, where'd you go?
Very briefly.
I was actually in Brussels.
Brussels.
Yeah.
And what was your experience like? Belgian people are extremely nice, I heard.
No, I didn't even get a chance to really explore. It was on the way to the Persian Gulf, so it wasn't really. It wasn't for pleasure. It was for business, and so yeah, that was my European experience.
That was your European vacation, in and out of the airport.
In and out, man.
But see,
in and
now-
out.
But now
I
think
didn't even get out of the airport. I was stuck in the lobby.
But now think about that. How many people don't travel to Europe but are cutting through Brussels right now at that airport that are affected by this?
Oh,
They're not
wow.
even there for a vacation.
Right.
Like Max had said, this Air Force guy was there. Now, everybody he was with was injured, and there's people
The
just
reach.
traveling through.
Yeah.
At the ladies at the desk that were working the ticket counter, that kind of stuff. I start to think about all that stuff. And Belgium does have, not to pound the pro Second Amendment hammer again, but had their laws been different and a little bit more liberal, open for handgun carry, would they have? Could they have eliminated this threat?
Well, now they're going to have to do random checks on Middle Eastern looking men. Random because
Random.
I got to stick it up or kick it up a notch with your security.
Think about it. It's just like any city that we've got here, where sure we have the Second Amendment right, but they're not going to be allowed to take their handguns or personal carriers into an
Right.
airport or a subway station. If this happened in America, it would have happened the same exact way, regardless of our laws.
Yeah, you got that.
We need
You
the
got it.
technology to just detonate these suicide vests.
That is a
they're
great
just walking
idea.
down the street and they don't know what areas are called a safe zone or a hot zone, and it just automatically blows them up in
Well,
place.
Max and Trouble are in school. Maybe you guys should get together with the tech guys
Well, they don't-
and get an app that could detect
Yeah.
a suicide vest and automatically.
Well,
they don't go to MIT, brother.
I think
That's a good
service
idea.
dogs would be easier than
Yeah.
trying to develop it.
I just say blow them. I'm all for the development of technology to blow them up.
Or we could just tap them on the shoulder.
Well,
Say,
it's
excuse me, are you a terrorist?
Yeah. Are you carrying a backpack?
Are you carrying a bomb?
Is there
Well, you
something
know
in your
what?
backpack?
It becomes a question. See, the problem is there's obviously the detonating by cell phones where you actually over airwave versus you're clicking a detonator button.
Self-contained.
And self-contained.
And
that's harder.
But
That's
you
not
have
what
to pay
these
your
were.
bill first. You
That's
gotta
not
have
what the
service.
bombs in Brussels were. They had the switch. They were the ones with the switch.
Right.
Self-contained.
That wouldn't have none of the signal jamming that we can
Right,
do.
and then you
would
can't
have
do
solved
anything.
for that.
So that's why they are. The sad thing is they're very good at what they do, because the ability for us to be able to defend ourselves it's so slim when you're talking.
I mean, you almost can't.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be an ongoing thing, and there's still personnel down there. They still have groups. There's still shady people over there.
Did you catch that NATO guy? He was on the phone yesterday on Good Morning America or on Today Show, and I swear every time he said my girlfriend, I wanted to drink. Like he wanted to make it a point to let
the world know
that he had a girlfriend. Today he was on the Today Show, and he brought his girlfriend with him. So
was she a blow up doll?
I don't know. Yeah.
Was she?
I'm gonna be nice.
Decently,
nice.
Like
6-pack in a dark room for me. Maybe a shot. But yeah, he even made it a point that this is my girlfriend. We're here in Brussels. I work for NATO, or he was a NATO consultant, and
he didn't have too many girlfriends in high school.
I take it he did because man,
was he wearing skinny jeans?
Ooh, I couldn't tell because he was wearing a pea coat. That was from Abercrombie and Finch, probably.
Some weird individuals in the world, including us.
So he's got a girlfriend,
and they were all shaken up, which I could imagine. But
was she hairy?
She looked like she was. Yeah,
like, she didn't seem like the...
She looked like the kind of girl that would wear yoga pants who really should not be wearing yoga pants.
The yoga pants with the dimples in the back, though, that's not a good look.
You're giving his girlfriend way too much airtime.
With the cottage cheese showing.
My bad.
Speaking of cottage cheese.
Well, he gave her enough airtime, so...
So what are the numbers?
Legs in the air.
Do we know... Do we know what the numbers are up to for injured and killed from this event?
I don't have that.
I saw about 250 is what I'm reading
250,
here.
I believe, was injured. I think it might be up to 270 now, but I think there was at least 30 deaths.
I thought I saw 30 or 35 this morning.
So a public service announcement here for us, for here us stateside, is be vigilant. We tend to have this bell curve. Every time something bad happens, our vigilance is up. Where security is heightened, and then there's a lull. We take our time going back down. Everything seems to be nice and peachy until something else happens again. We need to consistently be at that yellow. We need to be in yellow at all times.
We need to be vigilant, but not fearful.
True. Exactly.
And you know what I've noticed is that, Paris attack, that wasn't long ago. That was maybe 5 months ago. So that bell curve is happening faster and faster.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
It's like we're getting too used to the whole... We're getting used to the whole violence of the world, and it's just like, oh, it happened again. Oh no, we're up. Okay, and then now it's like, oh, it's been a month. They're probably tired now. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous.
Well, that's where I think being a combat vet is really the positive side of it. Is you're always hyper vigilant, even after you leave the service.
Oh God, yeah.
It's looking out your windows, assessing people walking down the street. Face.
Well, I'm surprised my back is to the door right now. I'm feeling very uncomfortable.
That's why I love this seat. I can see who's walking around, and sometimes even when we went to Taco Bell, Spaniard, you didn't get a chance to go.
I didn't go,
but there was a guy that walked in, and I just immediately hairs on my back started saying I might have to throat punch him.
You start doing face, hands, and what they're wearing every time. What's he carrying? What's his body language?
Yeah.
Hands, belt.
I get the hair standing up on my groin. That's I don't know if that's something special. Like a special hypervigilance.
Is that why you always ask for my picture via text message?
Right. It could be. It's a super kind of hypervigilance. It happens lower.
Well, let's keep following Brussels. Obviously, it's a big story, and it's going to be ongoing for a long time, and hopefully that bell curve slows down a little bit. It's ripples in a pond. It's drop in a bucket. How fast is the next event? Like Max was saying. So now you start to either anticipate it, worry about it, or now you're currently aware of what's going on.
I'm thinking 2 weeks. There's going to be another story like this.
But I don't think it'll be as big. It won't be.
I don't think it'll be as big. But
I'd give it a month. Honestly, it's going to be a month, and it may be longer if it's in Europe. If it's in America, it could be sooner. That's how I see that. Because America isn't hypervigilant. Europe is hypervigilant right now.
Now they are.
Europe's been hypervigilant.
But then my actual fear is that we become desensitized to.
I mean, we are.
Yeah,
you're right. We are.
It's like the kids playing video games with all the killing and this, that, and the other. We become desensitized to the violence, where even with Max being able to say, well, there might be something in a month. That's kind of scary.
Well, like the trophy wife told me yesterday that a couple years ago, this Belgium story would have been on the news all day.
Yeah.
Yesterday it wasn't.
Oh, it can't be. No, this is election year.
Yeah.
That's more important. Trump is doing something wild. We gotta see that.
Bernie's giving away free stuff. Hillary might tell the truth at some point this year. Trump is
Gonna say
pretty
something.
extreme.
You want the truth? I erase the
You
truth.
can't
Did you see
handle the
that?
truth. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
That Hillary picture.
Well, they found explosives. They discovered 15 kilograms of explosives, screws, other bomb-making equipment in one of the individual's residence, and then also they found chemicals and an ISIS flag during the search of one of the individual's houses, and ISIS already claimed responsibility. That wasn't shocking to me. Sometimes I think they claim responsibility for stuff that they don't even have involvement in, but here's clear clues, when they're finding the ISIS propaganda in the residence. So, which takes me back to what I was originally saying. I don't know why everybody's afraid to really express, yes, we know who's doing this. Why is everybody so touchy-feely about not calling it like it is and admitting, hey, yes, there is a problem coming out of the Middle East. Yes, it is 99% Muslim. There are other extremists, but I'm not talking about the other extremists. I'm not talking about the extremist groups that come out of the European states that are, white power or the racially charged, or the Christian, the small groups that are Christian. I'm talking about the Muslim community as a whole.
They're at the forefront of everything. But my other quick thought was, when these groups are going to get these materials, why is all these people so quick to go ahead and sell them the material? Because it's not just, they're not creating these, they're not producing C4.
Open
Ace is the place.
Open borders. Their borders are even worse than ours, because they don't go to the store and buy explosives. I mean, you can with a license,
right?
But they're not getting it from there. They're either doing HME, homemade, or they're bringing it in, smuggling it into the country. And my educated guess, doing explosives in the military, is it's probably going to be 90% of HME, homemade explosives, and then there's still going to be 10 to 15% of the explosives being used that are either bought through the black market or smuggled into the country.
I got a tip here that just came in. It's jihadist.com. That's where they're getting their materials on, jihadist.com.
I thought that was a date site.
That too. Yeah. A lot of pictures of goats.
I was about to say, there must be some pretty goats out there.
Well, can I go to that website and order goats?
You could. And explosives. I mean,
save the goat. Save the goat.
Yeah, but then you're going to be on a no-fly list.
That is a joke, by the way. I just made that up.
Don't go looking for that website.
Yeah, don't go to that website because it's just a joke.
But then again, if they're
list.
dumb enough to put it out there, somebody should have.
But that is an idea. For every explosive you buy, you get a free goat or a T-shirt with a goat on it.
Does it already come?
But you know
a
what?
Virgin goat.
A
virgin.
Is there such a thing? Not in the Middle East.
Not
in the Middle East.
No,
No.
I've never come across any virgin goats.
When did you go looking?
Well, he was just over at my farm the other day, and I've got two goats, and they're both virgin. Well, the one's a virgin.
Well, they're not anymore.
Yeah.
They got very nervous. They got very nervous.
Because I have the father and the son, so obviously,
yeah, never mind.
So the dad already did it once.
They saw Latin coming on board. They're like, uh-oh.
Well, you saw they scurried into the barn.
They're like, oh, he looks like trouble.
Yeah.
That's no joke. They were scampering away.
I don't know if you guys have ever had goat meat, by the way.
Oh, I have.
I know it's off
good.
topic, but I'll tell you what, that is good stuff.
Goat meat.
So, back on topic. With the bombs, they
leave it to Mexicans.
yeah, they have to find the bomb maker. They say there's 40 to however many terrorists in Europe right now. They just need to find the handful of guys who are actually making the bombs.
If you have no bomb maker, you have no bombs.
Yeah.
Well, that's what scares me, too.
What movie was that?
Because I have...
The Kingdom with Jamie Foxx. They got to the bomb maker. If you get to the bomb maker, you cut off the serpent's
See, now
head.
I've got years of experience. I joined the Army in '96, and I've done explosives for the military since I joined. So I also went to sapper school. So I start to look at it, and I wonder how many watch lists are probably on right now.
I'm sure you're on there.
They told us when we graduated sapper school, they're like, you're going to be on an FBI watch list now.
They got you a picture with
That's what they told us. It could have been hype.
facial hair, non-facial hair,
but
dress
you're
on.
Low key.
They
don't really want.
They don't
you.
really think you're going to. They just know you're capable.
Well, I'm pretty transparent, so I know where I was. So I wasn't in Belgium. Yeah. I was here on my farm,
stroking the goat.
And
the goat left with a smile.
All right. Well, hey, we'll follow up on this, but let's take a break before we move into the next stories and the next segment. We'll see you guys in a couple minutes.
The U.S. Military All-Stars is embarking on their 26th annual Red, White, and Blue Tour across America. We are the only team playing all active duty and veterans from all branches of the military. We are traveling 12 states this year. We have a call to arms and are looking for players from around the world. We are a non-profit, and we also would like to challenge all veterans and baseball fans to show their support. We honor all veterans that have ever worn a uniform in defense of our freedom. Nobody delivers patriotism better. Go to usmilitaryallstars.com. If you're a player, join us. If you're a supporter, click on Donate. God bless you, and we'll see you at the ballpark.
Knew that there was a role that I could play in supporting the men and women. I'd been involved with veterans for many years prior to my association with the USO, and it was just an extension of the feeling that I had that there was something I could do. I got involved with the disabled American veterans in the 1990s when I played a disabled veteran in Forrest Gump.
I never thanked you for saving my life.
After my first tour, I wanted to do more, obviously, so I volunteered right away, and within 3 weeks I was on another tour, and I just kept going out because I could see what it was helping our military, you know, just to know that somebody cared enough to get on a plane and come over and see them. That's that's meaningful, and it was not only meaningful to them, but it was meaningful to me to know that there was something I could do.
How are we? Everybody on your feet, come on, let's have some fun. Are you ready?
Every concert we play has a power to it. It's not just playing music. We play cover tunes. I mean, I'm not a songwriter or anything like that. I don't have to do this. I don't make any money at it at all. I'm doing it for them and for the men and women who serve our country. That's the way that I can give back to them. Not only want to entertain the troops, give everybody a good time, give their families a good time, but I'm also trying to pass on a message to them of support and gratitude and appreciation and resiliency, you know, staying strong through difficult times.
You can never get enough smiles. There's more where that came from. Check out these other videos guaranteed to make you smile. And the smile train doesn't have to stop there. We have new videos every day. Click that nifty little subscribe button so you don't miss a thing.
Welcome back to Black Sheep Bravo. Safeties are now off. We're going to hit this in real hard with this military judge, a United States Marine Corps military judge, accused of lying during sexual misconduct case that could face an investigation. You guys tracking this one at all?
Yeah, he's obviously he can face investigation. I hope he faces some jail time.
Really? You think so with this?
Yeah, well,
just to kind of touch up on a little bit, kind of give you the story for those who aren't really catching this. But basically, this judge is accused for lying about an investigation that involved a rape with students at Annapolis.
It's a Marine Corps major was being charged for sexual misconduct. And basically the judge had lied about some of the investigative stuff and some of the things being stated and some of the evidentiary valued stuff like text messages. And I mean, he was caught lying basically blatantly 3 or 4 times. And to me, you know, you're in a position to put these guys away for life.
That's true.
You know,
yeah.
Court-martial them, end their careers, whatever the outcome is. They should be held to a higher accountability, just like a cop. You know, if a cop gets stopped on a DUI, that cop should be held to a higher standard, just like a judge should be held to a higher standard if they're lying under oath.
So the allegation was that this judge had supposedly sex several times.
Not the judge. Thompson. Major Mark Thompson had been accused of having sex with 2 female students he knew through a rifle team at the U.S. Naval Academy. The judge is accused of lying.
So the judge is accused of lying during that investigation.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
I don't know how I feel about that. It's anytime we talk about sexual abuse or sexual allegations, the first thing I think about is where are we at? We're in a military base, male domination. You know, population wise, women are starting to see higher numbers in that. But what happens, just like any other college campus, it's going to happen. But is the Marine Corps saying you cannot have sex with your students? Is that?
Well, yeah, there's obviously UCMJ.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Of course, there's
I had sex with students. I guess I missed that one. I didn't get in trouble for that.
You didn't go. They didn't have a class.
Where was the beep for that?
I missed the sensitivity training on that one, though.
Yeah.
But there's another weird portion of this story, though. Aaron Ruff was the U.S. Navy commander who had led the prosecution against Thompson at the court-martial 10 minutes before all this even took place. He was testifying by phone, and that doesn't sound like a big deal, but it's highly unusual for a former prosecutor to testify in a case like this. And Major Joseph Grimm, who's Thompson's attorney, was saying in 31 years he's never seen this take place. So there's a lot of really strange stuff going on with this case, and that's why it's kind of on the media platforms for the military right now. Is yes, he's a major, so he's an officer. I wouldn't call him a senior, but he's 2 levels above a lieutenant, so he can at least find his way out of a paper bag. But for students at the Naval Academy, you'd look at this guy in a leadership role, and he
abused it.
He abused his position for sex and for personal gain.
Well, do you think he abused it, or do you think the catch was, since he was a major and these students, they got to be at least over 21, so they're a consenting age, and they're fascinated by the thought of
having sex with
a major
with a position of power.
And for the civilian audience, it doesn't matter if there was consent or not. The cases like this don't work like that in the military. He was in a trusted role, and there's written and unwritten rules on proper behavior in the military, and that's why he's up for court-martial.
It's kind of the same thing with these teachers having sex with students, and I'm.
Well, don't get me started on that. Every time I see those pictures of the
female
teachers
honestly,
having sex.
I had some hot teachers back in high school. We had some.
Do you have pictures?
I'll find some for you.
It didn't happen if you don't have pictures. Trouble.
No, I didn't say I did anything.
So you're lying.
The desire was there, and I would not have said a thing.
I'm actually getting aroused right now thinking my high school teacher.
Your mustache is moving up slowly.
See that? Oh, man.
It's getting stiffer and taller at the same time.
One of the lies that he's being accused of lying. So you got 2 people being accused. The accused is accusing the accuser, and vice versa. But he had basically testified. The judge testified that the government authorities had interviewed a family member of Sarah Stadler, which is one of the victims, one of the 2 victims, I should say, about a key night in the case. A claim that Stadler's mother and brother really strongly denied to the Washington Post, basically saying, no, the judge is lying, this didn't happen, we didn't get interviewed.
Now for the family, I guess, to just come up and just vehemently deny that it ever happened, it's a big slap in the face of our officers to just do the right thing. It's like, it's real simple. Either you did it or you didn't do it. And if this family is saying that you did not do such a simple thing as do an interview,
well, and
get information, get the right information. You want to? It's an absolute dereliction of duty. If
let's say the major is guilty, not guilty, it doesn't matter. But when you look at it from a military standpoint, this guy is in a position to end careers for the right reasons most times.
In lives. I mean, that's a life.
But then he's blatantly lying, is one thing. But then the second thing, which is still kind of weird, was that former prosecutor testifying in the first place is raising so many questions on this case, and it's so weird to me. I don't really get into law too much. To me it's boring. It's like a fart in church.
Well, wait a second now. This was my old MOS. I was a 4420 legal specialist in the United States Marine Corps.
Oh, right.
And we did a lot of different investigations like this, but here it's kind of cut and dry, because when you have evidence, and that's a key thing in the military justice system, is presenting the evidence. Here there was more than 650 texts that prove that there was relationships going on. How do you hide that?
Well, there's enough evidence there. Why lies the judge?
You could ask
exactly.
Is he showboating?
Yeah.
Because even with this former prosecutor, 4 military law experts told the Washington Post basically it's almost never heard of or never done. It's not that you're not able to do that, but it raises a lot of red flags.
I'd like to see the pictures of these women. Yeah, I don't know
Google
if we can get that or not, because I've seen some pretty hot looking officers in the Marine
I
Corps.
doubt he was getting one of them.
You don't think so? Man, I had this one captain. Ugh,
but he risked his career, so they better be smoking.
They must
hot.
have been hot.
You know, we are not the brightest tools in the shed, and
you got that
know what? We don't always pick winners to go diving off the end for.
But have you seen a woman, or
is that your term for that? Diving off the end?
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, we're gonna go diving off the end.
Have you ever seen a female Marine officer wearing those porn shorts, those running silkies? I gotta say, I've seen a couple.
There's a couple that I didn't want to see, and those images are still burned in my head.
My skivvies got a little tighter when I
got to MOS school. We actually had a guest model that came through boot camp or got through boot camp. She made it, and she was going into the reserves.
Get out of here!
But she was a guest model.
Oh man,
silkies! I just can't get over it. I love my silkies. I still have a pair. So wait, the silkies obviously doesn't even need to go into the manual because they're just authorized. But what do you have for us today from the manual?
Oh, we got a couple topics because they're very serious to me. All right, first and foremost, fingernails. Everybody look down at your fingernails. Everybody look.
I chew them. They're full of dirt.
All right.
I got oil on my hands.
Now, cleanliness is next to godliness, right?
For some people.
For some people. All right.
Dirty hands, clean money.
The other side is this. When you're going, you're introducing yourself and you're shaking hands. If you cut that person's hand with your fingernails, that's not a good
a crack nail.
Yeah, the crack nail. Or when you're rubbing you're going through your hair and you're scratching your head, because I do a lot of scratching on my head. And I scratch them.
So do I.
Now, you got a messed up, jacked up fingernail, and you pull on the wrong.
Oh, you're bleeding instantly. That's the worst.
So, how often are we making sure we take care of our fingernails? I mean, we don't think about it that much, but fingernails can get caught in the wrong place.
That's why I just eat them off. I just chew them right down to the nub.
Wrong time. So, men, take care of your fingernails.
I play Spanish classical guitar, so you can see in my right hand, my nails are a little longer than the nails on my left hand.
Those look like hooves.
No, man. These are some beautiful hands.
Those are not beautiful.
These hands
they're not even moisturized.
Those look like meat hooks.
Well, they're not moisturized, but they're meant to bring pleasure
to
the world.
If you have that special time to yourself, you look like you hurt yourself.
Nah, man, it's only 3 nails. They're not that long. But when I'm picking those strings and I'm playing some beautiful Spanish music, the women go crazy.
All right, Antonio.
Woo, Spaniard.
So, men, keep those cuticles clean, keep them short, and keep those fingers not dirty. At least wash your hands. We're ending we're going into the next season. We don't need to get sick just because we touched.
You don't need pink eye because you
don't need
pink
eye because you didn't wash your hands.
After going number 2, you're dirty.
Eyeball.
Well, you did mention something that we're going into a new season. What about feet? Does feet applied as well?
I don't.
Oh yeah,
I got ugly feet. It's a wrap for my feet.
You know, I understand. Like my wife hates feet, and I get it. You know, feet are feet. They're there for something, but you got to take care of your hooves. Like
you got to take care of them. Just keep.
You want them to take care of you. You got to take care of them. Powder them, wash them. You know, I know a lot of military guys obviously powder their feet, but a lot of civilians don't.
That's true.
Yeah. We have to take care of our feet, or else your toenail. I don't know how many times I've lost a toenail just because Rock March.
Yeah.
I lose toenails because I Legos at 3 a.m.
Is it wrong to linger in a one of those Oriental? Correction. I guess the correct nomenclature is Asian. Those Asian nail salons.
Oriental sounded fine to me.
Well, I know there's people that think otherwise, but is it wrong to linger in those things to look at women's feet as they get pedicures?
It's a little creepy.
Is that creepy?
It's a little creepy. Just take a picture.
Not that I do it.
That can't be creepy.
You know what?
I know a guy that does that.
You know a guy?
I know a guy that kind of looks
like me. You
and
that guy are now creepy.
Now, when you start to ask to intern there, then we got real issues.
Can you move over aside? Let me see if I can do this.
Let me get the left one.
All right.
Why are you putting my toe in your mouth?
I do appreciate nice looking feet on a woman because I've seen some jacked up feet, especially at Purdue Calumet.
Jacked up. You guys are talking about jacked up.
Oh, I got one more.
One more. As I was.
The major topic of the manual today is going to be manscaping. That's a sensitive topic because it's a sensitive area. To manscape, not to manscape, and then are we talking looking like a baby? or we leaving at least a small rough patch.
I wish I could take a picture of my junk, because you could definitely see there's there's like an in between there. But I have not gotten any complaints from the trophy wife, so it definitely helps.
I think it depends on your body type, because like clean it up easily, obviously, but like there's a point you can't be a bear of a man and just shave everything down there. That looks weird.
I got you.
Well, doesn't it depend on the lady? See,
yes.
I'm a former ladies man.
I thought you were going to say you're a former woman. It's like, Paul, what don't we know about you?
Paulina.
No, I used to be Patricia. No
wonder you want really pretty hands. So Patricia, continue.
So it, to me, I think women appreciate it when they don't catch a random hair in the grill area.
No, from obviously
from special attention.
From chewing on your hat, because they wouldn't give it there any other way.
So do you have a process? Do you have like a how-to step-by-step for these young
give our listeners some advice.
There is the advice from me to
you.
All the from me back to me. Make sure, number one, you know what your pain level is, because you snag a wrong hair and you pull up some skin.
Are we talking shaving or the clipping?
You know what?
Both. I'd have to say both. I'd say run a guard to get it low, and then 2, what I recommend.
Oh, you're proficient.
Is
he said run a guard?
Run a guard.
Okay.
And then number 2 is make sure your straight razor is sharp. Because you don't want to be down there with a rusty spoon trying to clean up your.
I use my wife's razor in the shower. She doesn't. I don't think she knows it. She'll probably know it now. But I do the whole stretch thing. I stretch it out and I get a good lather and I just go from top to bottom and get it all nice and clean.
Now I can never do that.
What you don't do, what you do not do, men, do not use your wife's nair.
Oh yeah, I did that.
Don't do it.
Wife's what?
Nair.
Have you stuff that burns your hair off?
I mean, now granted,
college types of depilatory.
I'm fairly confident my wife doesn't even own that.
I'll tell you, it's safer to use straight bleach. I guarantee you, it burns less.
Emergency room stories will be another segment next time.
So, speaking of burn, 3 top officials at the VA in Phoenix, Arizona, are finally being targeted for removal. Spaniard. VA, your realm, that's your baby.
Yeah, it is.
What are your thoughts on this? Finally, I got so excited reading this. I swore we just won the Super Bowl for veterans.
It comes back down to leadership. It's finally taken hold. Again, coming down from Secretary Robert McDonald on down to the upper echelon of the leadership, people are finally taking accountability here. It's due. It was finally due. When you make a mistake, you either own up to it or and suffer the consequences, or you bow out. Because like I said, this is something that priority number 1 is taking care of our veterans. The VA is finally getting it in their heads. It's coming down the wire to give this type of special treatment, or not even special treatment, but the treatment that the veterans really deserve and have earned. The right people in place, kind of going back to having the right person on the right bus on the right route or route, depending on where you're from.
Well, basically stop
short bus.
Stop treating them like.
Exactly.
So Phoenix VA was actually ground zero for the wait time scandal. Basically, if you're not following the VA, basically the VA is for veterans, handles a lot of our healthcare needs after we leave service, and the VA Phoenix location had such a long list that people were actually dying waiting, and then they had another list that was basically saying that these, there was 1,000+ individuals were already taken care of, and there was a lot of lying, and really those individuals were dead. Across the VA system, there's an inability to meet the appointment standards, and these individuals were part of that, and they were keeping secret lists of veterans seeking care, and since they were caught, they're finally being removed. But I would have fired their butts day one.
But no, it happens everywhere, though. Case in point, I went to a doctor the other day. It was a private doctor. My appointment was at 8:30 in the morning. I get there at 8:20 because I'm a Marine. I like to get there early and get set up, look what's going on. I'm there till about 9:35. Still no doctor. And of course, I'm off my meds. I'm getting a little angry. So it happens. It happens everywhere where people are waiting regardless. My tip is, for us veterans that are waiting at the VA clinics and hospitals, make it useful. While you're waiting, call us, text us, send us an email while you're waiting, and share your experience of what you see. I think it'd be kind of interesting to see what people do while they're waiting at the VA, but it happens everywhere.
That's an interesting. Yeah, I can imagine how many texts and how many responses we can get from just the guys waiting around at Jesse Brown. But then again, at Jesse Brown, there's a lot that goes on at Jesse Brown. Like that's one of my. I normally go to Adam Benjamin out in Crown Point, Indiana, but I will frequently end up downtown at Jesse Brown.
And that's downtown Chicago.
Downtown Chicago, off the 290.
I hate Jesse Brown. I got sent up there for the TBI clinic, the traumatic brain injury clinic, and the hallways were just packed with people.
It is.
And I had asked the guy. I asked the guy standing there. I said, "Are these all veterans? Because they look homeless." He's like, "No, they're just homeless." I was thinking, wow.
No. Those are most of them are homeless veterans. Most of them really are.
This guy specifically stated, no, they're just homeless, and they were there to hang out to stay warm.
So they weren't veterans.
Right,
they were just homeless people.
So I'm talking to the VA security guard and I said, why don't you guys just toss them out? And he said, it's been like this for so long, we can't. So I went into the cafeteria to get something, and here's two homeless guys in a booth selling socks and water out of a box. It's just I felt like I was in a nightmare. So I stay away from the place altogether. I just go to private practice for help. But I'm sure they do great things. I didn't have a really good experience.
Great things? We'll put it at
that's
good
pushing
things.
it.
We'll give them good things.
I just don't understand why I have to get disrobed for an eye exam. Or is that just me?
That's just you.
That's just you. Wow. It was the mustache.
Is that what it was?
I'm
feeling violated now.
I give kudos. I give kudos like Representative Jeff Miller from Florida. He's the chairman of the House Veteran Affairs Committee. Also applauded Gibson and the VA Secretary Bob McDonald. Their move to fire the three, saying it is clearly the right thing. Well, no frickin' kidding. High fives. I mean, fire them all. I say one strike, you're gone. You can't take care of your vets. Just get rid of them.
My problem is people who are in positions like this, they always get really nice jobs like right afterwards. And it's like, how do you give this guy another job after
resume fluffing?
Yeah, he just screwed up he screwed up the process for veterans. Like, and now he's going to go run your company. Like, is he really going to do that much better? Like,
was this person that was fired, was that person a veteran? Do we know?
No, I do not know.
Probably not. They're probably from the private sector.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just spitballing and guessing here, but they're probably from the private sector, and they skirt around the issues. That's why I find it hard to deal with the average civilian. Like, even when I was driving semis, like, I wanted my trainer to be a prior service trainer. I don't want to deal with I do my best not to put myself in a position where I'm going to have to throat punch a civilian.
Yeah, I think most veterans feel that way. Like, regardless of what we're doing, we'd rather deal with another veteran than dealing with a civilian as is.
There's a whole different level of appreciating where you're at, where you came from.
I think rapport has a lot to do with it too.
Absolutely.
They understand
a commonality of
commonality.
history.
Yeah.
I think the VA should pick up the slack here and at least serve hot dogs and like Long Island iced teas or something to kind of make up for the downfall. So you walk into the waiting area. I didn't say bar. No, you can't say that.
Have a bar.
By VA standards, they can't say bar, but maybe like
a beverage,
a motivational corner or something where they give away hot dogs and like calendars of pretty girls in bikinis and like Long Island iced teas.
Oh, I'm there.
We'd all
the brownies with the green stuff.
Now the problem is you'd have even more homeless people hanging out because they'd just be in the corner like
they wouldn't be homeless. Yeah. They'd be living there.
I'll trade you a socks or something for a brownie.
To give the VA credit, though, I did see this in another article, and it kind of follows suit to an extent. They actually have opened the ability for combat vets to get telephonic healthcare applications applied for, basically get their application taken care of over the phone. So it's already been developed. It's already in the works. They're enrolling. Their goal is to enroll all 31,000 combat veterans that have pending applications at the moment. That's their top priority. So if you're a combat veteran right now, you may apply by phone, All other vets may apply by phone starting on July 5th, 2016. The eligibility phone number for this, 855-488-8440, 855-488-8440. Save yourself the grief from having to go in person and deal with these schmucks.
Oh.
Just call in if you can. And that's combat vets. So if you're a regular vet, you're still going to have to go through the ringer. Drink a lot of booze before you go.
Not a lot. You want to be able to at least tell them your social security
you want
number.
all right.
I think
Don't overdo
give
it.
Your last four.
On a side tip too, a lot of veterans don't realize, and I'm gonna promote this because I used to work there, are the vet centers. Vet centers focus mainly on combat veterans. And it's a lot less waiting, a lot less. You're going to get seen a lot quicker.
But not for medical, just
Not
for your
medical.
mental health needs,
But
for
even
transition
still,
needs.
But
I love the
they
vet
could sign you
centers.
up. They could help you with the process.
If you're a vet and you're either active or you're getting out or you're already out and you don't know what a vet center is, please get online, find your closest one, and go get familiar. They have amazing programs. The people are 1,000 times better. They do fall under the VA, but they have a whole different lineage, and you can tell it's night and day.
And they care. They really do.
I'm a product. I've been there, and it definitely has changed my life. So I definitely recommend it for those of you who haven't been out there yet.
Absolutely. I absolutely love the vet centers.
That's 40 push-ups right there.
By the way, Spainer hates the word absolutely. So, hey, thanks for tuning in today. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We've got Instagram accounts. We'd love to hear feedback. Feel free to email us at info@blacksheepbravo.com, info@blacksheepbravo.com. We're going to follow up with some of these stories next week. And as we close out, again, to the folks in Belgium, you're absolutely all in our thoughts and prayers. Americans, stay vigilant. Just absolutely stay vigilant.
And again, if you guys are interested in becoming either a guest or an interviewee, let us know. Again, we're gaining ground here. We're starting to pick up steam, and we want to hear from you. So please reach out to us and let us know what your thoughts are. And if you are interested, give us a plug.
Well, I think we're going to have these phone lines up next week, too, hopefully.
That's true.
Yeah.
See, look at that. Blacksheep Bravo's moving up already.
Yes, but I think I've got a good guest for you guys for next week. I'll talk to you off the air about it.
Oh, nice. Well, you can reach me at trouble.
Is that Patricia?
BOKSHP. That's trouble_blacksheep. All that Blacksheep is abbreviated. BLKSHP.
So tune into AFRN. Don't forget to follow our YouTube channel as well, Black Sheep Bravo. God bless.
Crash.
God bless America.
_ Black Sheep. Spaniard. Black Sheep.
Black Sheep Bravo Radio was recorded in Northwest Indiana. The show is produced and directed by Max Boats and hosted by Paul, Albert, and Tony. Until next time, smoke 'em if you got 'em.